Please stand and join for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you for waiting. For those who came here at 6 o'clock, we have a one-item agenda, so hopefully we can move sprightly through this. So on the items for discussion, the first up is the RBA amend and update purchasing policy for the city. City Administrator Kathy Pratt.
Thank you. My presentation tonight is requesting an update to the city's purchasing policy. Our purchasing code has not been updated since 2007, and I think we can all appreciate that purchasing power has changed a lot since 2007. The proposed ordinance would replace Article 5 in its entirety with a new Article 5. So why? You controlling it. Okay, great. Thank you. So why should we update our purchasing code? Well, first of all, these proposed changes actually provide more clarity. You'll see that there are a lot of definitions included in it that help not only clarify for staff, but provide transparency to the public about what these purchases are. It establishes new thresholds for the purchasing agent authority on budgeted purchases to reflect, as I said, inflationary increases. And it increases the threshold for the informal bidding process, which requires 3 oral or written quotes from $1,500 to $20,000. And it requires formal bid process, including advertisement for anything over $20,000. Next slide, please. So some of the key definitions I just wanted to review was purchasing agent. That has not changed in terms of the current code. It would be the mayor, the city administrator, or the city administrator's designee. Supplies are just what you would expect: goods, equipment, and services. Services, there's several categories: engineering, building and maintenance, architectural, IT, consultants. And emergency is actually defined. There's provisions for emergency purchases, and that's when immediate action is needed to protect people, property, or prevent service disruption. The other thing I like about the definition section is we've added lowest responsible bidder, which actually defines that. A lot of times people just read the lowest bidder and think if they've submitted the lowest, we have to accept it, but it's actually lowest responsible. And so that definition, you'll see, clarifies that quite a bit. Next slide, please. Okay. So what does our current purchasing code look like? So right now, for a purchase under $1,500, I have the authority, the city administrator has the authority to approve that. No board approval is required. On purchases from $1,500 to $10,000, the mayor or the city administrator, if budgeted, can make purchases. And board approval is required if it's not budgeted. And then for purchases over $10,000, it requires board authority. Slide, please. The proposed purchasing code, you'll see, is a little more detailed here. So purchases under $10,000, the purchasing agent has that approval authority, and no board approval is required. Routine operating expenses up to $15,000, the purchasing agent has that authority, and board approval again is required if it's not budgeted. Minor capital expenditures up to $25,000. Again, is the purchasing agent's authority, and board approval is required if it's not budgeted. Emergency expenditures are up to $50,000, and minor professional services is up to $10,000. On minor non-professional services, which would be IT services, software, building and facility maintenance services like HVAC services, for example, and training consultants, the the purchasing agent can approve up to 10,000 for, with a total of 30,000. So for example, if it was a 10,000 a year contract, up to 3 years of contract approval, so up to 30,000 in total. Otherwise, the board does have to approve it if it's not budgeted. So the key takeaways from this and from the ordinance itself, most purchases still require board approval. The larger the purchase, the more formal the process. So one of the things this code change would address is also when we have to do informal bidding versus formal bidding. Formal bidding would require an advertisement, and anything over $20,000 would require formal advertisement. Staff cannot split purchases to avoid thresholds. So that's key. I've seen that in the past where we'll just divide it up and it'll all be under $10,000 and then we can get around the approvals. You guys know I came from a previous environment and that was a serious violation of city policy. So it's clearly stated in here that we can't do that. And then it also includes an automatic inflation adjustment so that those spending authorities are maintained. We don't have to change our ordinances to keep up with inflation. It would automatically change. This is item number 1 under new business, bill number 2601, and it's on the agenda tonight. I'm requesting a first reading on this. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the code, what's being proposed.
I have a question. Does the purchasing policy address the use of city credit cards?
No, that would be outside of the purchasing policy.
Okay.
That would either be an administrative policy that we have internally or, and then I guess it depends on what your concern is related to credit card purchases.
Any of the audits that you ever see that are done, it's usually that's the area that gets problematic because it's personal expenses, unsubstantiated expenses, those kind of things. And I know it's harder to have internal control with a smaller population of people like versus Boeing or whoever. Just wondering about the internal control over company credit cards and how that works. And if substantiation is not provided, how that works because it's not part of an accountable plan and it can become compensation to the person making the charge.
Right. So currently, myself and the finance manager, Kim Clark, review and evaluate credit card limits. And they're generally maintained at a very small dollar limit. In that respect, yes, this policy does apply to that. You couldn't make a $10,000 purchase. It wasn't budgeted and approved just because you're using a credit card. So the purchasing policy applies no matter how you make the purchase, a check, or a credit card. We do require receipts be submitted for all credit card purchases. And those purchases also have to be approved through our internal procedure. So for example, our public works supervisor has, I think, a $300 limit on what they can spend without getting approval. So we keep pretty tight limits on expenditures with credit cards.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. I know this is a big jump as our numbers are big. What do you foresee things that the city may need that be at the $20,000 mark from 5,000 to 20,000? I mean, I'm just asking questions I don't know. What do you just foresee? I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that. I just don't know the answer to
Okay,
that.
we don't actually make a lot of purchases really as a city. We really don't, other than for routine items. Trying to think of a good example. Yeah, I mean, you could have an HVAC repair
I do agree with that.
that used to be maybe 5,000 and now is going to be more expensive. Again, so is the concern related to the process, whether it's informal or formal?
Yes, and
Okay.
the dollar amount that is approved. That's all. it's a big, when you look at my money, I just think about that, but I do know that inflation hit. I do understand all these things.
So
I'm
you,
just-
so to clarify, the change to 20,000 has to do with the bid process itself, whether it's formal or informal, versus the thresholds at which the board has to approve
Yes,
a budgeted item.
yes, yes.
So these changes represent those changes, which you're correct, but it would be, previously it was 10,000
Yeah,
and now it should be 20,000.
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't have a good example off the top of my
No,
head, something that
I
might
did not know.
be there.
I think Don Young wants to say something.
Yeah, just by way of example, ones that I've seen in other cities that have similar type provisions, the HVAC, I had a city where a boiler went out and they had to replace the boiler. And if they didn't, they'd pretty much have to shut the building down between meetings, which was a bad idea. So they want to be able to make that expenditure. Elevator repairs, other health safety type things that have to be done to be able to maintain general operations. Vehicle repairs sometimes can get quite costly. So things of those nature.
Thank you.
Yes, and I totally understand. I believe in having the limit, especially for emergency things such as if it's dead winter and you gotta get the heat going or electric, or you got a flood and you gotta dig up to get to the piping and stuff like that. But a lot of our budgeted items were not clearly explained in the budget what exactly they were all the money being spent for, such as routine operating expenses. What one single item that couldn't wait to come before the board for $15,000? I mean, I think I mean, it's saying routine items such as office supplies, minor equipment, utility costs and stuff like that. I mean, those kind of things I think are a little large, just to have the authority to go ahead and do, without coming before the board, because, you know, we're the ones that answer to the residents out there. And I'm all for the emergency. I understand that. I really do. And $50,000 probably isn't that great big of money if you run into a major catastrophe. But some of the other things, and just off the top of my head, because you all know it's a pet peeve to me, we budgeted $52,000 for the 4th of July thing, you know, so you're just gonna spend whatever you think without coming back to the board. You know, I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna do it, but technically you could do it. So, you know. That.
I don't know
really-
that this change actually changes that necessarily because it's a budgeted item. So unless the specific purchase itself was more than $10,000 because it's budgeted. So if it was $9,000 under the current code
Right,
for the 4th of July event, we could still spend that without board approval because it was budgeted.
yes.
So
I understand that, but if you're raising it to $15,000, I mean, I don't know what that falls under, you know, on these things.
yeah, I don't think that
I-
that the 4th of July event is a routine operation expense. That one in particular is a special event, as opposed to park maintenance item, for example.
I mean, I don't know where, I mean, in the 4 years I've been here, I don't see that we ever ran into any problems with purchasing anything that was an emergency or anything else. I do think we ought to move the emergency up, but I mean, I don't know why it couldn't come to the board. Um, you know, a 2-week delay and the max would be, because it would be administrative thing, we could have 2 readings if we needed to be done, but the max delay would be 2 weeks. So, I would have to go back to our budget and look at everything that was budgeted in there and to see what was line items exactly for what we were spending it for and stuff like that.
Can you refresh, you said it was 2007 since the last purchasing policy was updated? Okay, so for inflation from 2007, if I can go back to it. Well, I lost my numbers here. Let's see, so,
Mayor, may I ask a question real quick?
yeah.
Alderman Johnson, you said you want the emergency to go up. Is that what you said? I didn't hear that. I just want to
Oh,
clarify.
I'm in favor of definitely having a
I didn't know.
budget of $50,000 for
Okay.
emergency. I totally understand that.
I think so.
Okay.
I
Thank
think to Kathy's point about the purchasing power that was originally designed with what we currently have from 2007 until now, a quick search reveals, what is the average adjustment for inflation? And that would put it at a low estimate of 15,600, a high estimate of 16,100 to adjust for inflation specifically. So this proposed number actually comes up under what is proposed or what will be actually adjusted for inflation by almost $1,000.
I guess.
Do you not think that inflation has an impact on the city's operating posture?
I guess my question that I first started and I got moved on again, where are we running into a problem in purchasing? Where today are we running into a problem with purchasing?
Well, one process I think in particular is the informal versus formal bid process. So that's part of this
Yes,
proposed
I-
change,
I-
right?
I that.
I think I can't personally say that I've been impacted significantly or the city's been impacted significantly in the last year with purchases, but I'm only looking at 1 year. It might be helpful if I do go back and look at 24 and 25 and see what purchases came to the board for approval and review that with both you and staff to discuss more.
And I'm not
Yeah.
against the whole
No,
thing.
I
It's
get it.
just, it was a lot that came. And without looking at the budget and putting apples to apples and all that is just, especially when I got to answer to the residents. I want to clearly understand what we're doing. So when I give them an answer, I'm clear in spending their money.
Sure.
So.
Understood.
Any further questions? Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the review of the Board of Aldermen agenda for this evening. Any questions on the regular agenda for this evening?
And we're gonna do the first reading on this,
You talking about the
the
first
budget.
item on the agenda that we just moved from? Are you talking, is that what you're talking about?
Under new business.
Yeah, she asked just for first reading.
Is the board comfortable with that tonight, or I mean? Yeah.
Yes. Just the
All right.
first reading.
Okay, I mean, I just gotta make changes.
Okay, are we on one still? Or are we ready to move on to item number 2? Any further questions, Alderman Johnson?
No.
All right, item number 2, review of the 1/7/26 Board of Aldermen agenda. Any questions on the regular agenda for tonight's meeting? Going once, going twice. Staff communications. City attorney. City engineer, not here. City administrator, anything for the city engineer?
No, just counting the days until he returns. It's January 21st.
How many hats are you wearing right now?
I think 5.
All right, and city administrator.
my primary hat.
Mhm.
So just a couple of little updates. The outdoor sign has shipped to our installers. As soon as they receive it, they will reach out to our IT manager to schedule installation of that sign. The IT website is in production. Staff has been having meetings with the vendor. We're going to be reviewing the site map, I think, next week. And we anticipate a launch in early April. Once we have a prototype developed by the vendor, we will be meeting with the board to share that and get your input and feedback on that. So just want to let you know, it is being worked on. And then just to note that the city clerk and I will be representing the city at the municipal showcase again this year. This event showcases St. Charles County municipalities to our state legislators. It is January 27th. It's a great event and a great opportunity for staff to and elected officials to interact with our state representatives. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, real quick, I'm sorry. What are you taking with you when you go, Kathy?
We are working on that right now.
Last year they took a Sweet Spot, is that correct?
We did. It was a
Um,
big hit. Everybody loved the donut.
Exactly. I was just asking what we're doing this year, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we've reached out to them, but we're also looking at some other options.
Just a little side, I would encourage everybody from the staff, if you're able to go that day, to go on down there. It's a great event. We did run into hiccup. Now this will be our 4th year. We did run into a hiccup with legislative, had some special session, so they all didn't get to come over, but they really enjoy it, and every year it gets bigger and better, and this year it's gonna be larger than it's ever been. So I would encourage everybody to come down to it, and you get a good chance to socialize with your representatives on a very calm situation instead of sitting in an office. Now,
Alderman, go ahead.
yes, I was just curious, with, our engineer being gone and all that, were we able to stay up on getting our grants together and all that for all our projects that we approved to get done? Because I think they're due in February.
Those are his first tasks when he returns.
Okay. Oh, wow. He's got a lot of work. When does he come back?
January 20th. Everybody knows. Anybody else? I do have something. I want to say something to our residents. I want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the city, and thank you for your conversations. I love the fact that I've been getting emails from residents about concerns they have. I know Joe King, Richard Linderman, and also my good friend over here. We've been communicating a lot more, and I like that. So thank you for the city. Thank you for everybody, and I appreciate it. Thank you.